Fitin10 Nation, it is day 2 of the challenge. Day 2, and a couple announcements before we get into a little bit of MyFitnessPal. You got to book 3 workouts in the gym, or maybe you're doing Zoom workouts. Okay, some of you are doing the Zoom workouts. You've got to book 3 workouts in the Zen Planner. You've got up to 7 days in advance to do this. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you book in 3 classes and get in. These classes are titled as supervised workouts with a coach. The other ones, the unsupervised workouts, the solo workouts, they are something that you guys are not really supposed to use, okay? Because you need to have access to the gym. You don't have access to the gym, we don't give you a fob unless you request it, and for that we would charge you a little bit extra. That would give you access to the gym at any time, okay? So the idea here is that you get into classes, you do the instructed classes with us, okay? If you do want a fob and you do want access, and I will be posting daily videos, the daily workout videos online, which you will get, let me know, and we can sort that out, okay? Okay, I want to remind you guys, you have this little manual here, right? And I also want to remind you that you have something called MyFitnessPal. And MyFitnessPal is an app that's really purely for food accounting. There is another app that can spit out diets for you based on your macros, and the app is called Eat This Much. Okay, if you look up Eat This Much, you will see you'll see the little app. I think it's got a little carrot in the icon, and you can enter in your macros. It'll spit out a day of eating for you. But of course, that is just like, if it spits out a day of eating, the understanding is that you're going to eat everything there. So I'm not a huge fan of the app because, you know, it forces you to eat a diet, like a certain prescribed foods for the day, exactly as it's laid out. But you could do that if you want. I'm going to encourage you guys to, and there's a reason why I have it set up the way I do, to become familiar with the foods that you're eating. And you will, regardless of whichever way you do it. You will become familiar because you essentially have to, okay? You are essentially structuring your food every day. Of course, that is if you're planning, which you should be, right? And you're entering this into MyFitnessPal. And if you don't know how to enter into MyFitnessPal, if you go to Pillar 3 in your manual here, I think it's on page 16, you're going to see a little brief explanation. It's a bit mundane because I think I use something like a banana, but it doesn't really matter what I use. It's still the same process. You're entering the food, and it's giving you, based on the amount, it's giving you the macros of that specific food type, right? And when we're looking at food types, okay, you're probably going to start to realize, or maybe you already do realize, or maybe you already know, that when we look at things like animal flesh, these are primarily protein-based foods, right? So when we're looking at red meat, or poultry, or fish, these types of things, or shellfish, even, these things are primarily protein-based. When you're looking at things like fruits and grains and vegetables and breads, basically all of your starches, well, starches are carbohydrates, obviously. These things are going to be carbohydrate based primarily, and when we're looking at, there are some exceptions, by the way, when we're looking at the fats, we're looking at things like, you know, oils and butters, nuts, these types of things that that are primarily pure fat, okay, or just about pure fat. Now, one thing I want you to be aware of is most foods that you weigh out, even if they are considered a pure, let's say, carbohydrate, like a banana is basically a pure carbohydrate when it comes to the type of macronutrients that are in it. It is not pure in the sense of, if you have 40 grams of banana, you're getting 40 grams of carbohydrates. No, okay, because obviously there's more stuff in there. There's perhaps, there's things like micronutrients, and there's water, etc. Okay, so there's other stuff in there. So be aware of this. So for example, if we use the example of let's not use banana. Let's go with something like chicken. Okay, which is very water based. It's like it's the flesh from an animal. If you're looking at, let's say, getting 30 grams of protein, okay, you want 30 grams of protein from chicken. It's not going to be 30 grams of chicken. Okay, it's going to be somewhere around 100 to 115 grams of chicken. Okay, so because the rest is water. Okay, and that accounts for something, but of course there's no calories in water, right? All right, so just be aware of that. All right. What else did I want to say about this? I know I mentioned this yesterday, but the best place or way to start with this is just try to make up your meals with those isocaloric breakdowns or isomacronutrient breakdowns, where you are subdividing them into whatever 3, 4, 5 meals and then trying to build meals on that. I should post the spreadsheet that I put up in yesterday's meeting, and that will give you kind of an idea of how to add things in, or maybe give you a better idea at least. But look or start with your manual and look at your protein strong, fat strong, and carbohydrate strong foods, okay? Your protein strong, carbohydrate strong, and fat strong foods. This is a great place to start and start building meals off of that. And if you're not sure, just enter it into MyFitnessPal and you will see, okay? So for example, I mean, I'm probably not the best example here. If I pull up MyFitnessPal for you guys here, I don't know if we're gonna be able to see this. The glare might be too much. I'm gonna go to meal 2. I'll just tell you what my meal 2 was. I had some jasmine rice, and I had 7 ounces of it, and that came out to 42 grams of carbohydrates with 0 fat and a little bit of protein in there, but basically pure carbohydrate. Then I had some ground bison. I had 8 ounces, which works out to be about 46 grams of protein. It's a little bit fattier meat, so that's why it's not as protein dense. Getting about 20 grams of fat in that, and I added some Brussels sprouts to this as well. These are doesn't sound very appealing, but Brussels sprouts, if you really cook them, just on a side note, if you bake them, like really bake them until they're brown, they turn into they turn sweet essentially. So it's kind of a nice additive to something like a rice and meat dish. And also in the meat, there was some vegetables added to that. But basically, I just added it in. I don't know if you can see it here. Oh man. Okay, you can kind of see it there, right? Hopefully you can see that clearly. And so that's it. I just added it in. So you can begin if you want. You can start just winging it. You can start saying, I'm gonna eat my regular breakfast, and I'm gonna put it in. So I'm gonna measure it out, I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna see what it turns out to be. Then you can look at your macros and be like, oh, geez, okay, I notice I don't have any protein, or my protein's very, very low. I need a better source of protein. So maybe I'll throw in some Greek yogurt, or maybe some protein powder, or maybe some egg or egg white or something like that. Okay? So this is a bit of a learning thing, and the fact that you don't know it perfectly right now is totally understandable, and it's just what we expect, okay? All right, that's all I'm going to say on that. Listen, I'm going to hand you guys out one of these. I sell them. They're super good. They're the only bar I recommend. There's a lot of bars out there, but this one I really like because it's made with 60% of the ingredients in here are certified organic, and all the ingredients are whole food ingredients, okay? So you know that I'm gonna really push whole foods on you guys. So I really like this bar. It's high in protein, plus it's oven baked, so it's not like a typical protein bar. It tastes like, to me, it's really, really good. This product I sell a lot of in the gym because they're handy, they're high in protein, they've got a decent amount of fat and carbohydrates, so they're good little meal replacement. These ISO bars, okay? So if I happen to forget, let me know and I'll give you one of these, okay? They come in 3 really good flavors, 2 which I really like, 1 that's okay. All right, message of the day. I said this yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Sounds a bit harsh, and but listen, let me at least say this. If you plan everything out, your workouts, your cardio, like when you're gonna do everything, and your meals, you will do very well in this challenge. It's not a question that it's not a question of, oh, maybe you will, maybe you won't. No, you will. 100% you will. It's a fail proof plan. Okay? It's honestly, it's analogous to saying if you sock away money every day, you're going to have some savings at the end of the month. It's just, that's what happens if you sock some money away and you just hold on to it, right? It's the same thing with this. The hard part is doing it, right? That's the hard part. It's following it every day. So again, you're always going to hear from me. It's not about doing anything, extreme. It's just about being consistent with something reasonable. Okay? The only thing that you might feel is unreasonable with this is perhaps measuring out the food. But if we don't measure out the food, if we don't know how much we're eating, it becomes very, very difficult to know what's going on in the total picture of energy balance, right? Okay? Energy balance being the energy that you're outputting and the energy that you're inputting, right? The energy input, of course, is your diet. Okay? And we got a big goal by the end, right? We've got a 30% fat loss goal, okay? So plan everything out, and I guarantee you're going to do very, very well, and you'll be very, very happy, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude. And I'll talk to you guys all very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. See you guys.